So we're going to wrap this up. Steve, you got 30 seconds.
Go!
Right now. Start the timer.
Tell us a little bit about your career, yourself and your career, and how you got into art.
How did I get into art? It was always the best thing I knew how to do. I mean, I loved playing, I loved sports, but I just drew all the time. That was the thing I loved to do. Like on road trips with the family, I would ask for like a sketch pad, not a sketch pad, but just paper and pencils and stuff, and I would draw whatever the whole trip.
What did you draw?
It was the same thing as like Juan had said about like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
I drew lots of like cars and spaceships and war scenes. No, I don't think so.
I definitely.
Don't you wish you did?
Yeah, oh, I do. Because
Me
like
too.
I remember, I just remembered like I would draw. We were kind of big into history and World War II as a family and that kind of stuff. I have a lot of vets in the family, and for some reason, like drawing tanks and airplanes and like the battle scenes, but they were just like so cartoony, and they, you would draw the bullets, and they were like this dotted line, and you draw airplanes, and you draw the stars and the like the different, like if it's a German plane or if it was a British plane or American plane, insignias and stuff. So yeah, that was fun. And then I would just draw cars and yeah.
Did you know early on you wanted to have an art career?
No, I had no clue that I wanted to make it as a job or a career. I remember taking art every single year and semester in high school because that was a choice. So I did every art class you could do because I really enjoyed it. In grade school, we had art every year at St. Boniface Grade School. They always had art and I was always into it and loved it. But yeah, I didn't know that it was a job until maybe my second semester of my freshman year in college. That's when I went from engineering to graphic design. And unlike Dave,
It's similar.
I didn't smoke dope like Dave did, but my friends did.
Let's be clear, I didn't smoke that much dope.
You have a lot of
I was
mechanical.
like, I didn't smoke that.
Nah, I didn't inhale.
You have a lot of mechanical now.
A couple of times a week.
Kind of. I think that comes from my dad was very handy around the house and did a lot of the home maintenance himself, and made us boys help. And so we built the decks, built rooms, and I think at an early age, I think I watched this old house every single Saturday my entire growing up. So I just love that kind of stuff too. I'm really good with my hands, and I think that's really just kind of comes from not being very good in school.
So you are an internationally recognized designer.
Yes.
And when did you decide that graphic design was the road you were going to take? Did that have anything to do with your association with John Salouche and visiting him?
It did. I was introduced to graphic design in college because I was flunking out of physics in Eastern Illinois University.
Right.
So I went to the counselor. I said, "Hey, this engineering thing's not working. Yeah. Let's look at art. What kind of careers can you get?" Because my family was all about getting a stable job out of college. And so I'm like, with that mindset, it's like, what kind of full-time job can I get in the art world? And she had suggested, looking into graphic design. So I looked at those classes and then signed back up for art classes again the second semester, and just fell in love with the first design class I had.
Yeah, it's
it all made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like physics could not We could not make sense of that.
I think that I was watching Behind the Music once, and it was with Queen, and they said that Freddie Mercury studied graphic design, and I always feel that that was kind of your approach about graphic design. You studied it, you understand it.
Yeah.
Typography, everything.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I
You've
really,
done a lot of publication design, right?
I
That's
still,
kinda
yeah, and I
your-
still do.
that's-
I had your
Would you say
very
that's your
common
area of
book.
specialty, or?
It goes back and forth between editorial publication design and brand design, brand identity. That's pretty much like the beginning of a company, being able to like name a company and then build out what their look and feel is and do the whole brand is, I'm really good at that. But I just absolutely love designing magazines and books,
Well, I think
posters.
if I were to assess you're really good at everything design-wise, but especially book design and poster design. Would you say that's your forte?
I think so. And I don't know if it's necessarily because it's a poster or because it's a book. Because when I think about a magazine or a book or a poster, I think about them one page at a time. So like a poster is just one page. And it has a lot you have to put a lot into that poster. But then, a book and a magazine is the same thing, but it's 200 pages or it's 40 pages. And so,
I've seen your stuff at the airport.
Yeah.
You did, I guess it was a couple years back.
yeah.
And those were really cool pieces.
Yeah, those are, that was the graphic abstract series.
That's over at Ed's too.
Yeah,
I was
Ed's
gonna
has
say,
3
some
of my
those are
paintings
at
up.
Ed's, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we talked about this one time, I think I asked you this question not long ago. You had a lot in the big hall club in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Posters.
Yeah,
Do you have a
we,
favorite?
I do. So the Big Club Hall is a building owned by Scott Smith, great photographer.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And he has a bar in the space, and then him and some other friends, Danny Hummus, who's an amazing drummer and imager and record and musician, they got together and decided they wanted to put on some concerts and record them. So they set up these live jazz concerts and they recorded them, and I participated by designing a poster for each, a commemorative poster for each show.
Oh, I didn't notice.
So I think I designed maybe about only like 8, half a dozen.
Only 8. I think all
Posters.
of them were award-winning.
But there's one that I absolutely love. It's lime green.
That's where the
And
microphone.
with the microphone, Mike
Yeah,
Speckard, the
I
photographer, I worked with him, and he photographed this forced perspective of a really cool old microphone, and we put that on there, and then I just designed this filigree that went around it and made these beautiful designs around it. And it was for, I think it's Margaret Bianchetta. I'm gonna maybe butcher their name, Margaret Bianchetta Trio. It was a female jazz performer. She was the vocalist, and there were
It's a beautiful piece.
two amazing accompaniment.
Are those images still in the bar space?
No, I don't think they're up
Is that
there.
building still open?
Building's
that
still
way?
there,
Yeah,
and
it's still there.
Patrick
Lanham's on the
Lanham.
second
there.
floor.
I learned today. I had lunch with another designer that Scott is trying to open that bar space up as a
cool. That was a
bar. So
Bar, man.
I might be breaking news now on this thing.
They were at one party one time when you were
Yeah.
in that building.
That bar would be pre-1900.
Oh, yeah, it's old.
Roughly
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah, originally it was the Italian American Men's Club. It was it was a social club
wasn't it? Yeah.
where everyone on the hill, if you had a wedding, that's where you had your reception.
Yeah, right.
And there was a club that was
the
there.
second floor is a ballroom.
Yeah, it was a ballroom upstairs, downstairs, and then a private bar for the members.
I remember when
there.
you were first in that building, you commented that you didn't even have to lock your car
No,
because
the hill is
nobody
amazing.
would mess with your stuff on the hill.
The hill is so safe.
Because somebody would know somebody. And they'd
So
find
many
out who
times
did
I
it,
left
and
the
they'd
door
get their ass
unlocked to my office and came back. I'm like, oh, shoot, I left it unlocked and everything's still there.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, the hill is just a wonderful
Where's your
neighborhood.
office set on the hill?
It was
right across from Charlie Gito's, right?
Yeah.
It was, yeah, Shaw and Marconi. There's a Shaw Coffee House that's there.
Yeah.
Kitty corner from
One of
that
my
is
favorite
the
places.
American Italian American Scott's building,
Yeah.
and then on the back of that building there's a kind of a ceramic white off
Yeah.
building that
Yeah.
was a barber shop originally.
No, I'm very familiar.
Oh,
I know
you know,
that
that's
space.
exactly
It's
what
real
it looks
small.
like.
It was super small, and so
Yep.
that was my office
And
for.
we're sitting in a barber shop now.
Yeah, and that's funny. How ironic, and we're bald. Even more
I'm
ironic.
pretty sharp. I notice things like that.
Yes, Dave, you are.
I've been inside that space. Plus, I did a photo shoot with Patrick.
Yep.
For the guy who was in there had a BMW motorcycle, and we took some shots.
Oh, that would be yeah. Patrick's an amazing
He
photographer.
shot a ton of stuff for my daughter,
Yeah.
Claire. Some fantastic stuff.
No, he does a
Hardly
great
charged
work.
or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too
almost a
nice.
favor. He's a wonderful guy. I really like him.
So tell us, you were in the art center basically from the ground up.
Yeah.
And then tell us
Yeah,
about that and
yeah.
kind of how that evolved into the Gogh-Getters.
Yeah. So the Edwardsville Arts Center, I think Deanna Radicke, Caroline Anderson,
Yeah.
Dan Anderson, John Salouche, probably, there's probably a few others in there as well that I'm just not, and like Charity Davis, Woodard.
Liz Link was involved? No.
Later, maybe, I think Liz
Later.
Link may have been
John
involved.
Pat Quinn, probably.
Pat Quinn,
Oh,
John
yeah,
Quinn.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I kind of joined in maybe after they got things rolling. And at that time, it was trying to turn the Wildie into an art center.
Second floor.
Second
Yeah.
floor, anything they could get. And
Yeah.
we're working with the city forever to get that going. And up until that point, we were pretty much just a virtual art center. And we were putting on events, doing just local art things around town.
Yeah.
Actually becoming more, I guess, formalized with bylaws and, getting a board, asking some lawyers and stuff to join the board, the Schutzenhoffers, the coffees, just to kind of build up something. So it was a slow start at the time, but they were doing events and shows. They were doing, they did a painted furniture auction
Yeah.
at the time. They
I
would
did one of those.
do dinners, like the flowers dinners, where we would go to. I think we first started at Rusty's, and then moved out to
Oh, yeah.
doing those there.
So what year did they get the Hillsborough building? How long
You're going to
into-
ask me years, and I'm not sure if I'm
Well, I
going to be
mean,
able to answer
how many
those.
years into EAC? before
I'm
they
going to
got
say
the-
probably like
Hillsborough
5.
was 207 or
Yeah.
2007.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to say maybe it's like 6 or 7 years after
Oh,
we were
wow,
doing
that
that
long.
for a while, before we had
God, I
enough
love
money
that
to
space. I love
do that.
building. I love going by there.
It
Yeah.
took a lot of art to fill that.
Took a lot of
Drive
art.
by there at night with the lights on
Right.
and all the art in there. It was
And
just
you
like-
did the letterpress show.
Yeah, curated.
Oh yeah.
That was in 2010 or maybe 2009. And that was a dual purpose show where it was not only was a letterpress show with letterpress artists from around the country, but I also put it on to help me celebrate 10 years of Creativeville, the design firm that
Oh,
I
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And that was just a small part of it, but we had a big
Amos
opening.
Kennedy part of that show, or was he a
Yes.
separate
Yeah.
show?
Yeah.
Amos Kennedy,
Yeah.
Jim Sheridan of Hat Show Print, Firecracker Press.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
Ken-
I forgot about Firecracker.
Yeah, Ken Botnick. And then,
That was an incredible show.
yeah, I'm
Great show.
Especially
blanking on this
Kennedy
Kansas
stuff.
City
I
group.
think that was the best one we had.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah, I still have Amos's work up in my house. And I
Yeah.
just,
I wish I'd bought some of his pieces.
yeah. He's a delightful guy.
Man.
Delightful man.
He's getting pressed now.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him like in the last month in like, I don't know, the New Yorker or something.
Right.
You know?
No, he's very outspoken and he's an amazing
Yeah.
artist.
And still doing the same stuff.
Right.
And
Former
very,
former scientist, and he moved from non-art into art.
Really?
Yeah. Speaking
but
of
his
it.
stuff has a like a protest element, or
Very much so.
like a social justice element. I really like
Right. He
his
does
stuff.
try to push the buttons a little bit and makes you think,
Yeah,
using
right.
using letterpress as art.
So we started Go-Getters in 2011. I would guess it was around 2012 that you came aboard, that you were the first show. We had not had any shows, and you were the first show.
Really?
And I want to think that was in 13.
That's sacred.
What was the show? Because I'm blanking on what I put up. Was it photography? It had to be photography. Was it not photography?
It wasn't very good. We were
No, it's pretty forgettable. Apparently,
It was forgettable.
it was
That's why
pretty
you can't
forgettable,
remember.
right? I
it.
can't even remember it.
I'm kidding.
I think it was photography. It had
I
to be
think it was
photography.
photography.
Yeah,
Probably.
my black and white stuff, which I love making,
Yeah.
like from a photo. Damn, I do a lot of
I
shit.
think I might have a piece from that show.
Actually, I
can't
thought about you today because I was driving around the north side of the city.
Yeah,
Where all those buildings have just
Yeah.
been demolished.
right from the tornado.
Yeah, from the tornado, I'm like, there would be some really cool shots.
Yeah.
Of some buildings that,
Yeah, you're doing a photo a day right now, right?
I'm trying to. It's a little bit difficult.
What's the?
It's for the American Cancer Society.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
So
yeah.
I just take some random photo, and I
Yeah.
have a new app on my phone that helps me make it black and white right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Phone's pretty sweet.
the phone is pretty sweet.
Man,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
So you were
Who carries a camera anymore? You know? God.
AIGA president of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so AIGA is the Professional Association for Design, and I was a chapter president for St. Louis and ran that local chapter for, I don't know how many, presidents usually do it for about 2 or 3 years. So I did that then, and then I was nominated and was on the national board for another 3 years, doing miscellaneous design stuff around the country. Lots of judging of shows and giving lectures and trying to help chapters do, set up and run better.
What also, back to EAC for a minute, what was you were high up on the board there. What did you do?
I think I got up to vice president and just got to the point where with 3 boys and a job and just no time, I couldn't put 100% into it. So I'm like, I just got to get out.
So probably,
And at that point, we had moved from Hillsborough into Edwardsville High School.
okay.
Yeah.
So
And AIGA is where AIGA is, that right?
yeah.
Was the source of many of the posters in our political poster shows.
Oh yeah.
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 That
So yeah, that's
that
a
connection made that happen.
right.
We would not have had a wall full of, what,
Right.
150 different.
Yeah,
posters.
100.
That was your idea originally, and I believe, was that 08 we first did that, when you first did that?
I think it was. I think it was 08. 04, I designed a Get Out the Vote poster in 04 for AIJ St. Louis, and then I think it was 08 where they had all those posters that were being designed by anybody who wanted to design a poster around the country.
Yeah.
So there were hundreds and hundreds of them,
Yeah.
and so we were able to curate our favorite ones, well,
Yeah.
almost all of them practically,
Yeah.
and then we basically plastered the entire wall in sacred
A
grounds.
lot of staples.
Lots of staples. But the cool thing was that we took each of those posters and printed them about 10 times and then padded them like a
Right.
tear pad
remember
and
that.
stapled that up. And then people were able to come and take their favorite with
People
them.
loved it.
And they
man.
loved
That
it. It
place
was
is
popular.
swarmed with people.
And we had
Can
a
I
really
take
good.
more than one?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can take all you
Take them
want.
all. I don't care. And it was great. It was great to see them all go,
Yeah,
and the over time the wall would get empty, and you could
Yeah.
just put some more up,
Such
and
a cool thing.
it was really
proud
kind
of
of
it.
active.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
very proud of it.
Yeah,
Even the last show that we did, was it 2024?
the last poster show. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really well attended too.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
state
politicians. Yeah, politicians. Nikki Baczynski came, and then
Katie Stewart.
Stewart
Yeah.
came. Any local politician came by,
Yeah.
had pictures taken on the wall with each other, and
Were there yard signs that they gave out to some people, some politicians?
I'm sure they
Yeah, I
used it as
think-
they definitely used it as
Absolutely.
Yeah.
an event to get the
Which
word
is
out,
great.
right? Which is what it's for. It's
Yeah.
we want
It
everybody,
was happening.
right?
In your career, you've worked for agencies, and
I've-
you've been self-employed, and you've been back at agencies and
Yeah.
self-employed.
Yeah,
So, some of the agencies, you work for Robert Falk.
yep. I
Right.
worked for at the first go at the Falk Design Group, Robert
which was
Falk
on,
Design Group,
in the Central West
Central West End on West Pine. That was my
Incredible
first
building.
job.
What a place to work.
Yeah, he had taken two brownstones and built an atrium in between, and actually two dilapidated brownstones,
Yeah.
rehabbed them,
Yeah.
and then put the atrium in between them. He was
There's
Bob
a carriage
Falk
house
is
in the back.
has an architecture degree from WashU.
Oh, I didn't
not
know
a
that.
trained designer,
Okay.
but he worked at HOK and then eventually started
Wow, I
doing
never knew
graphic
that.
design work, and then started his own company.
he
And that was
sold-
my
he
first
sold
job.
that building to the St. Louis diocese.
Yeah,
Bought it as an office building.
they bought that
Just
then. and-
absolutely beautiful. Was it West Pine? Is that the street?
It was on West Pine.
South of Wendell.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
by West Pine and Newstead.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I know where it's at.
yeah.
really cool.
Like one block west of the Ronald McDonald House, which is on West Pine.
yeah, yeah. And you're a graphic designer
yeah.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, so I started there the day after graduation
Oh, really?
in
Yeah,
college.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no
And so
idea.
Steve Harrison was who hired me.
Yeah.
And I had never met Steve, but he used to work for John Salouche.
Oh, they were
At
partners
Inland. They were-
when Inland was
Right.
established.
And
For a couple of years.
for years, while I was at Eastern, I would come back and meet with John, have him review my portfolio
Yeah.
and just talk about the business. And I would ask him for an internship. And every time he said no. So he's
Really?
always, yeah.
Figure out why that would be.
Oh, he didn't like my work. That's fine. But we became super close
Well, and
friends.
then-
And
Well, he eventually loved you.
he eventually, I guess, loved my
Yeah.
work. But we really
missed the
became
boat.
friends. And he was really a good mentor.
Oh, yeah.
As is Steve Harrison is as well. So I owe a lot to those two.
Yeah, no.
Those two
I owe
guys.
a lot to John as well.
Yeah,
So-
me too.
Yeah, and
Me too.
from Falk, I was there until about 1999. And that's when I left and started Creativeville.
Gradyville, down the street,
Yeah.
the little white,
Little white
one
building
of the
down there.
oldest buildings in
I know,
Edwardsville,
that was a
yeah.
great office.
Very historic building.
So I had
Did
that.
some work down there.
Yeah. So I
Made
was
some signs
Creativeville
for
for
you.
about, I know, I still have it.
Do you really?
I do have it.
Please burn it or melt it or
No,
whatever.
it's a work of art. So I did that for
Okay.
like 10 years and then I went back to Falk.
Creativeville was 10 years?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I still loosely use Creativeville today.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That's
Not,
kind of your,
yeah, it's my thing.
Yeah.
But,
you own that mark, right?
right.
That was a
I mean, we have a
space down the
magazine that
street.
we want to explore, periodical. We want to take on, get, that I'm all for. supporting.
I know the Creativeville Journal one of these days.
I'm all for.
So then, Paul Harrison, then from
And-
there,
From Falk Harrison, I did that another 7 years. And then from there, I moved over to Wehrmeyer Creative, where I am today.
yeah.
And we're over in Webster Groves.
What do you do for them?
So at Wehrmeyer, I'm the chief creative officer. And so I'm kind of oversee all of the creative that we do.
CCO.
CCO, they say, yeah. So probably the most,
He wears the big breeches.
the big britches. I get to work on probably our more well-known product that we put out is Curiosus Magazine. It's a medical
Oh my God. it's a
healthcare
beautiful
magazine for Barnes
publication.
Hospital. Yeah,
I picked up half a dozen copies at BJC.
Yeah.
They're up there a lot.
we're working
I mean,
on.
just beautiful paper and beautiful images. And
Yeah, they
my
let
God,
us.
the
They let
design
us do it all, and
the
it's.
whole print design is just, and we're just like sitting around in the various
You art
doctor's
direct a lot of
offices.
shoots there.
Yeah, so I still art direct the shoots. I pick the cover. The theme of the piece is always it's the art and science of medicine.
Yeah.
And so I pair a lot of art and illustration into the magazine along with
cool.
the science writing. So I'm able to find artists on occasion I found artists across the world to work with where I would just, either commission them or just pay them a licensing fee to use their art on the cover.
Okay.
But I typically would prefer to go find the artist, use their actual art rather than find an artist and rip them off, which a lot of other, I've seen a lot of other designers do.
Question for this periodical, how can someone go get it?
You can probably only get it now if you go on campus, and they have them scattered around on campus at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
Okay.
So
They're in like a waiting room.
they're in like waiting rooms.
Or a specialist.
And they were used to be mailed out to like 130,000 specific demographic people. And I don't know who they were, but I think they were people who probably had insurance and pretty well off and had some influence within the region. It's a reputation
donors,
piece.
benefactors,
Yeah. So, and
And you designed a book for the Lincoln Museum.
I designed
Illinois.
3 books for the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library.
Mary Todd Lincoln book.
The Mary Todd Lincoln book which was one of my favorite books I designed. Yeah. Classic. And then I also did a book, I think it was around 2008. It was about the history of elections.
Did you do photo shoots with the Lincoln stuff?
Yeah. So they had the entire collection. I was able to go up to Springfield, use a local photographer, and we would go down into the vault and pick the things. Like
You told me you got to handle.
That's cool.
You
some
got to
of
handle
Lincoln's
things.
personal possessions.
Right. I mean, like Mary Todd Lincoln's gloves that had blood stains on them, or there were guns. I don't think they were the gun. It wasn't that gun, but
Did
they
you
just
steal anything?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. But they had all of Mary Todd Lincoln's letters, handwritten letters,
Oh my God.
and back then, to save money, you would write a letter and it would be like sent through telegram or whatever. So to save money, they charged by the page. So what you could do is you could write at a diagonal, write part of the letters at a diagonal, and then write the second page on top of that same page at a different diagonal, and they would save money by
You're kidding.
you could read that. Well, if you could read their handwriting, which was very difficult. So I took one of those letters and I used it as a pattern on top of this book, which is really beautiful.
What was the music book you did? It had a ticket stub on it.
Oh, that was for Contemporary Productions. So if you ever like saw a concert from the 70s until early 90s, maybe 80s, it was typically produced by Contemporary Productions.
Yeah.
So their first concert, I think it was in 1974, was the Rolling Stones. And so on the cover of that 40th anniversary book of Contemporary Productions was that ticket stubs from the Stones when they played it.
Wow.
They played at Kiel. And so it was,
You did that.
yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in addition to design,
Yeah.
paint,
I paint.
you do a variety of art.
I make shit for the most part. I
You
don't.
make a lot of stuff. You're
You do.
extremely motivating because you're always putting something out there, and that's very encouraging.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or not, but I like to make things. That's kind of my happy place.
I remember when you were burning boards with a massive propane torch out in your driveway, like for shelving or a door.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
just wanted to make shelving, and the art of
Charred
Soshuji
wood.
Ban is the art of charred wood.
Yeah.
So I thought it was beautiful how you could go make that wood crackle
Yeah,
and
yeah.
make it black. So I was out there with the kids, and I just had a yard torch torching this wood.
What was the recent commission you did? That had blocks, kind of.
Oh, the block that was a commission for Studio Lark. They're an architecture firm in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
They do
Sweet.
brilliant residential work. And so they're also a design client of ours at Wehrmeyer. Jessica wanted to give Aaron, her husband, their partners in the business, a 50th birthday present. And she asked, hey, do you have time to make a painting for Aaron? I don't know what to do. Let me tell you a little bit more about what we do. And they apparently, they really like the idea of putting code, like Morse code or barcodes, and they incorporate codes into the designs of their clients' homes. And so I took that idea, and the Morse code for 50 is 5 dots and then 5 dashes. And so using that motif, I had 5 or 10 panels. Top were all dots, oil painted on top of square maple panels, and below were dashes on each, and they're all different colors. And I think those panels are roughly, I guess, foot by foot, 12 inch by 12 inch. So it's like 60 inches by 24 inches when it's assembled on their wall. And they put it up in the office, and it's their Zoom background now. It was so sweet of them to ask.
Really ties into the business. And
it does.
To him personally.
Right.
Wow.
That's the fun thing about commissions. You can actually.
And they gave you license to, based on what they said.
Yeah.
To do what you wanted.
I gave them sketches and ideas, and architects they like to know what they're actually getting into and pre-plan everything to the T. So Jessica was involved in that, but she let me kind of come up with all the ideas, and we worked on the size of the dots and stuff like that together. But after that, she just let me paint.
So I have a question. So for I've been on your site, the stuff that you're selling. I mean, and you're very multifaceted with your different styles that you choose from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Is there
different.
something is there one that you really enjoy, one direction, one medium that you really prefer playing with? I mean, your photography stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed when you did the on the highway pieces. Right?
The freeway
pieces,
series. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always loved the camera. I think I had my dad's Pentax in high school.
Oh, wow.
We went on
I
a
had my
school.
grandfather's.
Yeah, we went on a school trip to Russia.
K1000.
I have no clue. And actually,
That's the Pentax that everybody in the world had.
right.
Yeah.
And he actually bought it off of our friend Mike Meehan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and another lawyer in town. My dad was a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I had that, and I took that camera with me on my school trip, and tons of film, and just learned how to use the SLR from that trip, and
Wow.
loved it ever since. I mean, I remember thinking back, we were talking about what I wanted to do in college, and actually photography was an idea of mine, was to go to Carbondale and study photography.
Yeah.
But which I think I would have had a blast. I think I would have done smashing with, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it today. So
I just remembered the piece of yours I have is the Northside Dairy Bar, a color image
The
of
color
a
one,
sign.
right.
And it's just, I love images as signs.
Right.
So,
yeah.
How do you find the balance? I mean, design is obviously very corporate,
Right.
and painting or photography, you get to do what you want. Do you find that a good balance?
It's perfect, I think, because
There's no PDF coming back saying do this.
there's changes, and in design, there's a lot of perfection and exact measurement, and there's no room for mistakes for that piece to go out. And there's a deadline, and it's very,
yeah.
very constrained.
Yeah.
But then when I
Stress
make
is
art,
involved.
I get to not do that. Like when I started with oil painting, the paintings are messier than anything. It's gloppy, it's gloopy. The colors or whatever I feel like using at the
Right,
time. Excuse
I
me.
found the same things.
Yeah, it's really
The
freeing.
stress involved with the work that I did.
Yeah, and I think why I make so
Gone.
many different things is for that same exact reason. The process of like just using randomness, or the idea of random thought or random actions, allows me to switch between mediums.
So just to kind of add to that, does your
Sorry.
wife is also in the art industry. Does
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
produce
she's
along
different.
with you? Do you guys collaborate? Have you done stuff together?
No, because she's a theater director by training. She has her master's in theater directing and dramaturgy. And she runs Coca's art. Basically, she makes decisions for all the arts at Coca in St. Louis. When we collaborate, it's more about like just creative ideas of like what she's working on or what I'm working on. I will bring up like something I want to make. She'll say, "Yeah, that's cool. Don't do that," or whatever. And if she's working on a project, I'll always throw out ideas that whether they see the light of day or not, I don't know. And then she also is in charge of the gallery at Coca as well. So there are times when I throw out like names of artists that would be ideal for the space, like Kerry Smith, for
Yeah.
example,
This is incredible.
Jared Minnick.
Yeah, that was one of the most enjoyable.
Yeah, it's such a hidden gallery space.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
the
you
Kerry
did.
show.
Yeah.
It's hidden and,
Two years
it's
ago.
I didn't know it was there until I came.
it's hard to it's hard to fill because it's deceptively large.
That's it.
And John Blair is there right now.
Oh, I just saw that.
And
yeah.
you got to see his work.
You go there.
It's absolutely just stunning.
John Blair from St. Louis?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like this stuff.
He has a show that's all based off of a Takeoff Brer Rabbit story and the Tar Baby.
Oh, wow.
And so he tells the story a little bit differently, and it's called Bruh Rabbit and Them Play Too Much is the name of the show.
Okay.
And he does all the characters in the story
Wow.
in his style, which has got like a real kind of I think he's inspired by you mentioned him in your podcast. I'm blanking on his name because I'm on the spot right now. One of my favorite artists,
Local?
Basquiat.
No, I'm
No,
drawing.
no,
Basquiat.
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 Oh, yeah.
So he's heavily influenced by Basquiat and
Oh, yeah. those
Ernie.
are Amazing.
I think
Yeah,
it's
John actually, he's really good friends with Brian Peace, and he does paintings out of Concrete Ocean.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, his work is
Great. He's an
outstanding,
amazing
and the show is perfect for Coca. It's,
how's that up? I didn't know that was there.
I think it's probably only going to be up into May at the most, but
Kind of just opened, didn't it?
we just opened it up,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a great show. I recommend anybody go see that one.
No, I'll definitely need to stop.
So I'm just trying to pick which piece I want to buy because it's outstanding.
You need to have one.
I got to have one, at least one.
Distinctly remember a photo a couple times of you painting and one of the boys when they were young.
Yeah,
Black and white. And you're painting in a room, I think. Might have been at your old house, I can't remember.
it probably definitely was. My studio is basically in my bedroom, in the dim
And I
light.
think
I'm
they
painting
might
at
have been
night.
Painting with you?
Yeah, it probably was Connor. He was always painting with me, and he really into art. And he is currently studying architecture at University of Arkansas
Yeah.
at the Fay Jones School. But yeah, he was always there making paintings with me. And great story about him.
Yeah.
Great story about him when he was in grade school. I think he was probably fourth grade. One of his classmates' mom had passed away, and one of the teachers asked if Connor would come in and just hang out with the daughter and just teach her how to paint.
Really?
And so we got all the materials, and he took all the materials in, and Miss V, the teacher, got it organized, and they just went to a separate room, and Connor and that child who is in college
How
now.
old was he?
Well, it was fourth grade.
Wow.
So
10 years old?
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was really.
Man,
I mean,
that's moving.
yeah.
Jesus.
I think he just gets that from probably from Shauna.
Yeah, right.
So.
Tell us about the other
You're
two
just kind
guys
of a
while you're at
heartless
it.
son
Oh,
of
the
a
two.
bitch.
I got three
Gotta get
boys.
equal.
I got to get them. They actually might listen to the podcast. Maybe. My oldest Kieran.
Cool.
My oldest Kieran is He's graduating this in May with an electrical degree from Rankin. He's already been accepted a job at U.S. Steel, so
Wow.
But they all have some creativity in their own right, and they don't like to own it. But I can see where creativity lies in everyone, whatever they do. And Kieran he's an amazing athlete, and he was super creative on the pitch as a soccer player. But now he just skateboards, and he goes out and he still boards, and he's creative, always trying to figure out new flips, kicks, whatever you call them. He's 25. He's still out there. I got a buddy who's still skateboarding at 56. So,
that was my thing when I was a kid. I skateboarded for like
you can get back out. You can still do
There's
it.
people in our age that
Yes.
do, you know.
My friend Jonathan skateboards still, and there's a great photographer.
Bob Shea was playing rugby in his 50s.
Yeah.
College guys.
He can still do it.
Sundays. And he
Yeah,
used
I was actually watching a
his ears
YouTube
down.
video of two guys in their 50s over at Ramp Riders
Yeah.
in St. Louis. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
doing
So.
some half pipe mini ramp stuff. Like, it's
Yeah, so sidebar, go check out Jay Grant Britton, photographer. He photographs skateboarders. So, and then my youngest son is Caden. He's going to graduate from CBC High School, and we don't know which college he's going to go to yet, but his goal is to become a senator someday. So,
That looks like he's well on that path.
yeah, right. So they're
and you've
three
been-
outstanding boys.
You've been politically involved your whole life too.
A little bit,
Yeah. Oh, you have a lot.
Right. I'm vocal about what I
You
believe
used to
in.
go have
And
breakfast with all the old Democratic hotshots.
all
in
because of my
Madison
dad,
County,
right?
didn't you?
Yeah,
Didn't
for
you?
the most part. Not knowingly,
Yeah.
but only just to hang out with my dad on Saturday
Yeah.
mornings. I'd end up in a cafe with all the muckety mucks running the Democratic
Yeah.
Party in Madison
And then you
County.
found out, like, who they were.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
That
okay.
guy's important.
He might know. Yeah,
You have
So-
a lot of art ideas floating around. What's next?
I was gonna ask the same question.
Whoa.
What do you got coming?
I've been planning this 51 piece painting. I don't know if it's a 51 piece painting or if it's 51 paintings, but it is 51 square paintings, half spray paint, half oil paint, and they are different sizes, and each one is based on the population of all the states plus Puerto Rico. Because my son is oldest is Puerto Rican, so I'm not going to leave Puerto Rico out of these states that I'm making. Yo, fellow PR over there. So the size of each individual painting is based on the size of population.
What a concept.
So there's only like 4, maybe 5 sizes.
So Wyoming's like this big.
So
and
Wyoming
California's
is 10
like-
inches by 10 inches. California is going to be 36 inches.
Wow.
And the idea is I'm going to make this. I don't know if it'll ever get seen because it needs about 100 continuous feet of white space
it needs a lot.
to hang. Because they'll all hang on the same horizontal. The top half of the painting is a color, random color, solid spray paint. And the bottom half is just white oil paint that's put on there super thick and super messy and just super hectic. So the base of each painting is, this white block of messy white paint.
Yeah.
And the top is just this really super smooth, simple
Wow.
color. And so when you see all 51 paintings on that same horizontal line,
It'll make its own.
it becomes its own piece. And so I don't want to get too deep with it, but it basically came from the idea of, like, if you look at the American flag or any flag, they're all just made up of different shapes, and the shapes are all together. They make a symbol, and people will talk about, well, if you look at the American flag, the white star means something, the red stripe means something, the white stripe means something, and the blue field means something. But nobody ever talks about that border in between each shape that's actually holding all the shapes together from a conceptual standpoint. There's like a tension there or a bond.
Yeah.
It's what unites all those shapes to make a bigger picture. So what I'm doing is just, it's hyper focusing on that adjoinment of color and no color, and it's so
flags. That is one of my favorite pieces that you've done.
yeah.
Dissecting.
That's
Liberty.
dimensional too.
It is. It's dissecting Liberty v. Union, or dissecting Union v.
How did you
Liberty.
make that piece?
That was actually based off of the original Get Out the Vote poster that I designed for AIJ St. Louis in 2004, I believe. That I came up with the idea of taking the flag and then taking it apart again, all those different shapes, and then redistributing those shapes on a new field. And I chose orange as that color. So basically it looks like the flag has been deconstructed and almost, it could look like it's all falling apart, but the idea was all those pieces are leaning on each other, and technically if you, as individual pieces, and that kind of represented the liberty of the statement. And then if you moved any one of these pieces, theoretically, the whole thing would shift. And so they were still united in that way.
It's on canvas.
Wow.
It's now on canvas because I took that illustration I did, and then I blew it up. I took an actual cotton flag and dissected it in those pieces, and then reassembled it. Yeah, it's at my house still. It's for sale if you want to buy it.
We
It's,
carry that. We carried that like 2 blocks down to a law office in
Yeah.
Fort Herman, I think.
Yeah, we carried it. No, that was a different painting,
Oh,
I
was that the
think.
one? Okay.
Do you have it on your site for sale?
Yeah,
It's been insane.
It's like $12. You should go buy it.
$12. Close.
$12. Offer him 10.
Yeah.
10 maybe?
It's shown in a couple of exhibits, but not. That was at the Webster Arts exhibit. It showed it. EAC. We put it up here one day for the vote poster show. But yeah, it's just in my house. I still see it every day. It's opposite of a Jared Minnick piece that I bought from 31 Art.
So Jared's do that.
Jared's was a cool piece that was all circles, and so he made I don't know if it was a real comic book cover.
Oh yeah, I know. Yes, that's fantastic.
But
Yeah.
it's a grouping of 8 circles, 8 circular canvases that, if when assembled correctly, which he gave me a map to do it, you can still see all the figures and put it together.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's like
I really wanted a piece out of his show.
still can.
And I was about to buy it, and somebody's
Go over that.
girlfriend like walked right in front of me and bought it.
Oh, the guitars?
It's the guitar, the pink
Yeah.
guitar. with
Oh,
the-
yeah.
It was the
No.
only, I think, acoustic guitar, and the rest were electric.
Yes,
Jared's-
I have the electric one where it's a Twiggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I wanted that thing.
Another
Oh.
problem that I have is I have all this stuff I want to do, and I never seem to get to it. Do you have that? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay,
Right.
what's next?
You'll never
You're
be
not-
bored.
Right. You're not
Right.
really never for ideas.
I spent a day in Florida just making lists of projects. Like, here's a project I do, here's all the steps, and I've got like 12 pages, and it's going to take me like 2 years to get it all done.
Yeah,
But, I got a plan. Yeah, I mean, that's how I worked in my business. I would plan and then execute, and it still works, today.
What about museums for you?
I'm just gonna the first museum that I always think of is Crystal Bridges, and
Yeah.
you're heading there soon.
Yeah,
Juan
I'll
is
be-
heading there soon.
Oh, I'm going there in,
Dying to
2
do
weeks?
this.
2
Less
weeks.
than 2 weeks?
It is
It's in Bentonville.
it's in Bentonville. Alice Walton built it, starting with her personal collection, and it's been growing ever since. And it is just
It's all American artists.
it's all American, and the museum is just well designed. It's beautiful. They're doubling the space that opens up next year.
Really?
The town of Bentonville is just incredible as well.
Yeah.
They also have a second museum in Bentonville called the Momentary. And it's all part of the same group, and it's more the modern contemporary museum. So those are that's the place I love going right now. I wish they had more art galleries, independent galleries than they do, but Bentonville is just
The museum kind of just
it just takes over everything.
the giant gorilla.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
on,
much.
right?
And you
I'll
can
say that
go.
I'm also excited. I'm gonna have Clementine's ice cream while I'm there.
Why?
It's like I'm here.
I'm here, I'm gonna
it's
have
there,
Clementine's.
Like, why not?
I have a piece from an artist who exhibited there, a guy named Lee Littlefield, one of Larry Weatherford's best friends, lived in Texas, and he does these abstract sculptures. He finds, he'll find like a joint in a tree where there's, like a limb and a bigger, strips the bark off, sands it, paints them in these incredible colors. And he had an exhibit of, they're really large pieces, and I've got a little thing about this high that came my way. But he got to show there.
Nice.
And is
How long has that place been there?
I'm going to say at least 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Okay.
I've run out. I have Alice Walton.
She got Lee's pieces were like large sculptures. She got somehow she's influential enough. His pieces were installed in the median on a divided highway that leads into Bentonville, like where there is no artwork ever.
Right.
But she
she owns the town.
made that happen.
Yeah, no, it's just the whole Bentonville experience is cool because the architecture there is outstanding. It's the hub for new
Is the whole
architecture.
town like that? Interesting architecture, kind of like what is it, Bloomington, Indiana?
No, not that. It's not like that. No,
Oh.
they haven't gone and had.
But the building itself is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Crystal Bridges, the Momentary, the new Heartland Health Center, which is next to Crystal Bridges, and then just the parking garage for Crystal Bridges, and then on the other side, a new medical school the Alice Walton Medical School that she just opened up.
Wow.
Like that little area is just outstanding, and then they are building new buildings in Bentonville that are outstanding.
We're looking for trips like that.
Yeah,
5-hour drive.
it's an easy drive, great food, great coffee. I recommend
Great
it.
coffee. That will be meaningful.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the time, gents.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we just knocked out some podcasts.
Alex and Kimberlin next, right?
Yeah, let's see if we can get them on the
We need to
schedule.
Get them lined up. Yeah, they're down.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That'll be our first artist show for participating artists.
yeah. We will have to take all that excellent interviewing that we just learned to do today, and apply
What we might
it.
have to do one of these days is go take this on the road to 31.
Oh yeah,
That would be fun.
set it up
Ooh,
around there.
yeah.
That'd be a
Yes,
blast.
from there. Oh my God, Jared would probably be 100% on
We
board.
want to interview him.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think he'd be super.
Yeah.
I would totally set up there.
Yeah.
That space. That guy. When
Set
does
it
that
up.
guy sleep?
I don't know.
Man.
Yeah, talking about
That
that prolific.
building and all the stuff in it.
Right.
The bicycles and the motorcycles and the scooters and
The guitars.
everything, guitars, everything. It's like, man,
Drums,
this guy
drum
must
heads.
get like 2 hours a night,
Yeah, he's in that show this weekend too.
He's what?
He's in the Dropkick.
Oh,
show,
nice.
too.
Wow,
So that's nice to tag along with him.
Right.
man.
Rock on, guys.
Awesome.
Well,
Sacabo, that's it.
that's it.
All
Let's.
Well, you better get home. It takes you 5 hours to go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get going.
Good night, guys.
Good night.